Hey friends, I'm Laura with The Cozy Tree, where we make cozy goods and share biblical encouragement with others. Welcome to my series, Crochet Basics for Absolute Beginners. Now that we've covered the basics in lessons 2 through 7, we're going to explore some other stitches that are useful to know. Today's video is split into 2 parts. First, we're going to learn how to do a puff stitch, which is this one, and then we'll learn how to do a bobble stitch, which is this one. I'm going to show you step by step, slowly, multiple times so you don't miss it, and then show how it looks when it's done faster. Both of these stitches have a variety of abbreviations used in patterns, so it depends on the designer of the pattern you're using. Most patterns will specify all abbreviations in their instructions. Also keep in mind that some patterns will add or take away loops for these kinds of stitches, but I'm going to show you the most common ones. So let's get started with part 1, the puff stitch. Here is a crochet swatch, which just means a test square to test out your stitches before you jump into a project. This swatch is done in single crochets and puff stitches. I covered how to single crochet in lesson 3 if you need a refresher, and today I'll show you how to create a couple of rows of these puff stitches. First things first, you need to start out with a row of an even number of single crochets. I have chained 13 and single crocheted 12 across. Then I chained 1, and now I'm going to turn my work to start a new row. So first I'm just going to single crochet in this first stitch, and then let's go ahead and start the puff stitch in this next one. Before you insert your hook, you're going to yarn over, up and over, and then we're going to insert your hook into the V. That's the next stitch, like this. And now we're going to yarn over again, up and over, hook the yarn and pull it through the stitch. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Now we're going to do that again 3 more times. So that's 4 times total. So that last time was number 1. We're going to do it a second time, up and over, insert, and yarn over and pull. That was number 2. Yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull. That was number 3, and then this is number 4. Yarn over and insert, yarn over and pull, and you will have, spread them out so you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loops on your hook. It's kind of hard to see with all the threads if I were to spread it out, and it depends on your yarn too. Sometimes it looks more confusing. Okay, so you'll have 9 loops on your hook, and then we're going to yarn over one more time, hook the yarn and pull it through all 9 of those loops. Now we're going to chain 1, over and chain, and then that is 1 puff stitch. So I'm going to do the next one a little slower. I think I may have yarned over a little too fast in this one. So to start the next puff stitch, we're going to skip the next stitch and go into this one. So we're going to yarn over, up and over, skip that one. We're going to go in the next one. There you go. Yarn over and pull through that stitch. 3 loops on your hook. Now we're going to do it 3 more times. Yarn over, insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through. Now you have 5 loops on your hook. All right, 2 more times. Yarn over, insert into that same stitch again, yarn over again, pull it through that one stitch. Now you have 7 loops on your hook. And then last time, yarn over, insert, into that same stitch, yarn over one last time, pull through that stitch. Now you have 9 loops on your hook. And then finally yarn over and pull through all 9 loops. Then you chain 1, and that was the end of the second puff stitch. So every pattern will use puff stitches in a different way. It's not always going to be a row like this. I'm only doing it this way as a good way to practice. That's a good way to practice and memorize how the stitch is made. Now notice when I'm working a puff stitch in a row, the puffs are actually popping out more on the other side. So that means when you're working on a project with puff stitches, remember that the puffs will always pop out on the other side. So when you work the puff rows themselves, you're going to be doing it on the wrong side. That would be the inside, the bottom side, the back side, the side that people are not going to see. So real quick, I'm going to finish up this row at my normal speed. 3 and 4. Two more. And again, the pattern will let you know how you should be ending the row. They may have a certain way that they want you to do it. Well, come on, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna call that the end of the row. And whenever you do puff stitches, you're gonna need to alternate with another normal row, whether that's single crochet, half double crochet, whatever the pattern calls for. You will need to do a single crochet row so that your puff stitches will always stick out on the correct side. So since I've done a few puff stitches in this row, I'm not gonna do another row. That's basically the gist of it. You do single crochet or whatever stitch the pattern calls for, puff stitch, and then alternate again with that normal kind of row. So like you can see in my swatch, the puff stitches were worked this way and they pop out on the other side. The puff stitch is also often used in circular projects like granny squares, not a circle, but you work it in a circle, and coasters and things like that. It really adds a lot of fun dimension to your project. So let's move on to part 2, the bobble stitch. So it can be easy to mix up the puff and bobble stitch. The difference is that the puff stitch is just a little puffy, kind of reminds me of like puffy paint or like foam or something like that. While the bobble stitch is a lot more spherical, it almost looks like beads or baubles, and they stick out a lot more. While the puff stitch requires yarning over a lot, the bobble stitch has the added step of doing part of a double crochet. It's kind of confusing, but I will show you how a bobble stitch works now. So once again, I've created a row of single crochets first. This one needs to be an odd number of stitches. So I chained 14 and now I have 13 single crochets. Then I chained 1 and I'm going to turn my project. So in the first stitch, I'm going to single crochet just like normal. And the next stitch is where we're going to do the bobble stitch. So first you're going to yarn over, up and over, then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over again, pull the hook through that stitch. Now we're going to yarn over again, hook that yarn and pull it through the first 2 loops on your hook. So now you have 2 loops left. Now we're going to do that 4 more times, so 5 times total. Let's go ahead and do that. So yarn over, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Now you got 3 loops. Now we're going to do 3 more times. Yarn over, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, hook it like that, yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Okay, 5. So we just need to do it 1 more time, and then we will have 6 loops on our hook. That's the total amount of loops we need on our hook. So yarn over and insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. You gotta be careful not to accidentally do 3, which I almost did. Oh, yep, I did. So see, I messed up. There we go. All right, now we've got 6 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over 1 last time and pull through all 6 loops. Now, to close the bobble stitch, I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. That's going to kind of force the bobble to stick out. And here's how it looks on your working side. And here is how it looks on the other side. So I'm going to do it a couple more times for you. So since we did that single crochet there, we can go ahead and do a bobble stitch in the next one. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over. It's starting to not sound like a phrase anymore. Sounds like gibberish after saying it so many times. Pull through those first 2 stitches or loops, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Sorry, out of focus. Yarn over 2 more times. Insert, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. I got kind of caught there. Okay, we're missing something here. There we go. Now yarn over. It's easy to lose track if you're ever not sure. You can just pull it undone and start it over. Okay, we're gonna pull through these 2 loops 1 last time. Ooh, it's getting tricky. Okay, 6 loops on our hook. Now, yarn over 1 last time and pull all the way through. Then single crochet in the next stitch to close it. And that's what it looks like on the other side, where it's actually sticking out. And this is the working side. So this next time I'm gonna do it a little faster, but instead of saying yarn over, I'm going to count the number of times I do it. So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, oops, 4 times, I always get stuck right there. Okay, and 5 times. And some patterns actually will say bobble stitch 5 or bobble stitch 4, however many times they want you to do what I just did. Then last yarn over and pull all the way through. Close the stitch. And that is your third bobble stitch. It starts to kind of curve on you when you do a straight line one and this many close together. There we go. So I'm going to finish up the row and then show you the next row. Okay, so for the next row, just like we did with the puff stitch, you're gonna need a normal row to alternate with. So I'm just gonna do single crochets. Now notice this really big long V, that is one stitch in the bobble stitch. So we're just gonna single crochet into that. And just go all the way across. Man, does not want to focus. And once again, the reason you need to alternate is so that the bobbles are all sticking out on the same side. Now, depending on the pattern, you may have to space the bobbles out more, make a design with them, other really fun things. I did it to where I alternated them on this one. So every other stitch, I guess. And a lot of times people will make shapes, like this could be just a heart shape of bobbles and then single crochets in between, all sorts of stuff. It's really fun. There are so many creative designs out there that use both the puff and bobble stitches, and once you've mastered these stitches, you can make all sorts of fun projects. Remember that all of these lessons are saved into a playlist on my channel called Crochet Basics for Absolute Beginners. Make sure to save that playlist for easy reference in the future. In the next lesson, we will cover how crochet clusters work. These are really useful skills to know in lots of different projects. Make sure to subscribe so you can be notified of new crochet patterns and tutorials, and I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!